Hello, Internet. Taylor back with some more news for you and a couple of demos. I hope you're really going to enjoy this episode. Hey everyone, just wanted to give you a quick demo before we got started with the news. This is Etherspace, an Ethereum-based game online. So here you can see it's very similar to the old school game Asteroids, just spinning my jet around a little bit here. And there's a big old asteroid that's floating by. And you can shoot little bullets at it, just like you would expect, and it splits up into smaller ones. Very, very standard. Here you can see a golden Ethereum logo, it looks like, and you want to kind of collect those, even though I'm doing a really bad job here. The video recording software I was using really slowed my machine down and made it difficult to play. One thing I do want to mention is that this is just the demo mode. It didn't require me to pay any Ether to play, but there is a competition mode where you can pay Ether to compete for a prize. Right now, I just played the demo in Chrome using MetaMask just to get a feel for what it would be like to connect to the network and use this. It does require that you have a node running, so either have something locally, running it through MIS, or something like MetaMask works pretty well too. So here you can see my time's about up. I've just been flying around trying to shoot ships, not very successfully. And sometimes dying, of course. But that's really it. The game's pretty simple, pretty fun to play. I saw Craig Grant and some others were playing it. Feel free to go check it out right now. You can just hit play game, or I use the demo button down there on the bottom. There's a jackpot of a half an Ether at the moment. The first thing I want to talk about today is Coinbase was in the news again, this time not with the IRS, but actually they obtained BitLicense from New York. This was the licensing regulatory scheme, if you will, that was put out by Benjamin Lawsky, who shortly thereafter went to move out of government service. So it's kind of really interesting that he might be moving into a sector where he gets to make money off of enforcement and compliance of this. Nonetheless, Coinbase has got the license, and that makes them one of the most licensing companies out there in terms of swapping between traditional currencies and cryptocurrencies. So great success for them, great success for the industry, and happy to see them prod along even further on their conquest to allow everybody to purchase and sell cryptocurrencies. The other thing I kind of wanted to mention was Status.im had done a interview series based on interviews with developers and various people around the Ethereum ecosystem. They did this in Shanghai back in November, I think it was. I can't even remember now. I think it was actually earlier than that, but they're starting to get the interview series online now, which is really, really great. I watched one by Joe Lubin from Consensus and also Fabian Vogelstellers. I also read Victor Tron's really, really great interviews. Anyway, I'm going to put links in the description down below. Go ahead and feel free to check them out. There's a few more. I'm going to put up a couple of pictures here of one from Dr. Aaron Fisher, who's known for his association with Colony and Swarm. And there's another one for Dr. Greg Colvin, if you're really into the deep technical stuff of the Ethereum virtual machine. Super cool stuff, and a great way to get some more of the information out there and understand some of the people behind the project. There was also another great interview with Joey Krug from Augur. They've been working hard on their platform. There was some nice, interesting new tidbits that came out in this review on Automata. I'll put a link to that SoundCloud below. And finally, just kind of want to mention that a couple of government-related news bits. We saw the Fed supports blockchain innovation. There was an article about Janet Yellen from the Federal Reserve saying that she supported blockchain innovation. It's an important technology. Again, really great to have more of these people within the government ranks that support blockchain. Hopefully, we can make this technology a reality even faster with their support. So I wanted to show you guys a little bit of Akasha. This is the initial synchronization screen you'll see after you kind of pick your directories and have things start to get going. What you see here is the next screen after synchronizing and creating a profile is the ability to log in. And just as you would expect, you can have multiple profiles. There's a create new identity button at the bottom there. And you can see here I have my Taylor Gehring profile, which I'll log in with. After you log in, you'll see a screen like this. It'll be pre-populated with some tag. I think mine was originally with Akasha or something like that. But you see a bunch of posts listed by those tags and a general app interface that most people can get used to pretty quickly. Zooming in here to the Profile tab, you can get a little bit closer look. There's a variety of icons, some of which are not enabled yet, but there are a few you can interact with. You can see my picture here and my account balance, the feed that pertains to me or any messages I might have, and you can see on the button there on the left, kind of with the page and a plus sign, where I could go to start composing a new draft. To compose a draft, it's really simple. The interface is very minimalistic. You can see here it prompts you write a title and then write something. I made a couple of posts myself and it seems to work really well. It looks like there must be some sort of markdown system or something of the like because I saw a lot of robust, rich text posts with images and so forth. So I'll have to experiment that a little bit more. In the upper right, you can see the save and publish buttons. This is what a single post looks like. There's some tags down at the bottom aside from the text and the copyright. And you can see the number of upvotes or downvotes it's received. Below that also is a comment section. You can write a comment, and this particular one has, I think, 2 comments at the time of posting. It's really straightforward interface, should be familiar to anyone who's used Forum before. And finally, I just kind of wanted to touch on a couple of points of the system. I have here the confirm passphrase dialog box. And one thing I want you to know is that you'll be needing this quite often. There's a checkbox there for remember my passphrase. This is really important if you're going to use this system for a little bit. I recommend setting something like a half an hour, and then you can go ahead and do your posts and upvotes. The reason this is important, that you need something for this, is because pretty much everything you do and interact with in the system requires token, requires Ether, or their testnet Ether in this case. And that's for the blockchain to process whatever you've done. That being the case, you need to send a transaction each time the application wants you to confirm that before you send. So this is one thing you might run into. It takes a little bit to get used to, but it's actually quite quick, and they just pop up a status message on the bottom of the application once the task is done and confirmed in the blockchain. Not a big deal, but just be aware of this.
And lastly, something I wanted to mention that I participated in was a request for comment period by the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation. They had a series of memos that led up to request for comment period, basically from the public. They put out a set of guidance and basically said that cryptocurrency was not money because it's not backed by a sovereign state. So a lot of money transmission laws from crypto to crypto do not necessarily apply and do not need to be regulated as would be trading of dollars. Now, if you touch dollars or at some point, certainly you're going to be hit by those regulations, but this seems really great for just crypto to crypto trading, or in the sense of maybe you have a Bitcoin ATM that isn't for general buying and selling, but is something you do for personal cash in and cash out, right? That would be an example of something that's not covered under this new law. Peter Valkenburg from Coin Center also wrote an opinion on this. I thought it was really great. There are about, I think, 5 comments by time the time closed, the posting time closed for it. So good to see, again, more interaction in the government space.
Hope you enjoyed the episode and this sweet band from Switzerland. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and smash the like button, share it around, and if you want to see more, subscribe.